In a couple of 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today, January 27, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. JQK Law for more immigration lawyer John. That's on my TikTok. Take your questions live from 5 p.m. 5:30 Pacific, as we do every Wednesday. So we're going to jump into it. A lot of people are joining already. Thank you for coming. Just post your questions, and we'll try to jump up and get into it right now. All right, so the first question we have on TikTok, Kyra asks, what is the process for marriage interview? For a marriage green card interview, I've done a lot of videos. Check out my YouTube page. I break this down. Also, check out the free guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It breaks down the kind of questions that could pop up and a lot more. But essentially, they're trying to see whether the relationship is real. So they go over documentation of that and also background information about you to make sure your name is spelled right, your date of birth is correct, and then other stuff about you that could be problematic. Have you ever killed somebody? Have you done drugs? Do you have any criminal history? And potentially other questions. It really depends on the details of your case. So you should really check into that and maybe hire an attorney to do a practice interview, for example, to see what's going on, how it could affect your case. Now we have another question that popped up, usually related to marriage as well. So any updates on F2a? F2a is the preference category, second preference category for spouses of green card holders. And those are held up because there is a travel ban on this. And I did a detailed video about the travel bans that still are there on the YouTube page, JQK Law Firm. But essentially, spouses of green card holders are subject to the COVID travel ban that President Trump put in to not let those spouses of green card holders to come and take U.S. jobs, in his opinion. And President Trump extended that to the end of March. And it's not clear what's going to happen with that. So unfortunately, if you are an F2A case, unless you fall within one of the exceptions or could get a waiver of it or something like that, you're stuck in a bad place and you won't be able to get things up running yet. As Steffi asks, I'm undocumented. Can I apply for a work permit? Can I work with an Itin? What do I do? Well, Steffi, I can't really provide detailed advice for what you could do here. This is general guidance only. But what's important is you got to talk with the immigration attorney to see what's going on. You can't just easily get a work permit. You have to have some sort of special situation. For example, if you came in at a young age, you may be able to get DACA, deferred action for child arrivals. I don't know if that applies to you. I don't know your situation. So I would just say consult with an immigration attorney in private to get appropriate advice on what you can and can't do. That's the right way to go about it. We have another question. My notice of intent to deny. You don't provide any more stuff, but I'm sorry that your case may be denied. Emil on Instagram asks, should America ban all immigration, start sending foreign persons back to their home country? I'm not here to make judgment on what immigration policy should be. You have the right to vote if you're a U.S. citizen, and you can contact your congressperson and you can talk with them about that. That's not the place for that. Official Raj says, I've submitted all the documents to NBC. How much time for interview for India? There are no timelines. So that's that. You wish say, can you explain about felony assault? I got hit by a man and my jaw is dislocated. I'm sorry about that, but this is not a criminal law show. This is about U.S. information. Deja asks, how long after you get a receipt does someone get called for biometrics? Well, there's no consistent time as to when biometrics will happen, and that's a major issue. We're getting a lot of emails, a lot of comments about that. When is my biometrics appointments happening? There's no timeline. It's whenever USCIS could do it. They're very backed up right now, obviously, because of COVID-19. So you just have to wait for that. Let's see. Amir says, how much income do you need to bring wife or husband? Please, thank you. There's a lot of details I need to know, so I can't give exact information. But if you're solo here in the United States and you get married and want to bring a spouse, the minimum income the U.S. person has to make is you have to look up Form I-864P for your household size. I think it's around $22,000 generally, and that's not the exact number. So go check it out. Real Shut Up says, how long does the case take for a green card to be approved by a judge? It varies. There's no exact time. Mohammed says, I applied for my green card I-485 based on asylum. I made a few mistakes. What am I going to do now? Well, Mohammed, it depends on what your mistakes are. You could try to update the immigration department to correct those, but I would need to know what those mistakes are, how hardcore they are, and how problematic they are. So schedule a private consultation with an attorney to see what's appropriate in your case. Gunkir asks, my husband is an F1 visa holder. My visa expired, but he is in status. Does that affect marriage-based green card? Maybe. Does the visa expire if one affect a marriage-based green card? My visa, my husband, my fifth. Green card. If your husband's status, they're not a green card holder. It's not clear what it is. I'd really just say if you have a serious situation like that, just schedule a private consultation and we could talk about that. So I'm going to switch off and take some questions on YouTube and on Facebook. Captain Marvel really quickly asked, will social media be checked? It can. Whether they're doing your case, I don't know, but it's possible. Mohammed says, I lost my green card in Egypt. I can't get an appointment for boarding foil. What do I do? Yeah, you got to get some sort of documentation to show that you have a visa. You got to keep calling the embassy, have it on record that you're trying. But that's something we got to look into more. It's unfortunate. Fia Apollonia says, how long is the processing for an H-1B visa? Thank you. It varies. There's premium processing to pay, but I've seen it last year take over a year. Usually it's a few months, but it varies. Bass says, how important is having a lawyer in a marriage interview? Bass, it depends on your case. Some people have more complicated cases, so it's really good to have it. In general, it's good to have a lawyer with you because you have someone who's your advocate there. You're up against the government. It's you and them. Why not have someone that's on your side that has some power to bring to the equation? But it's really up to you, and especially not knowing the details of your case, how problematic things are, how well you did your documents. I can't really give an answer to that. At the end of the day, it's a decision you have to make. Angela says, what is a waiver? A waiver is a way to ask for forgiveness for certain things that could prevent you from coming into the United States. And so that's the short answer for it, but it can get much more complicated. Juliet says, I got my work permit in September. Please, you know how long it will take to get an interview date? No, there's no fixed times. Dan says, awaiting a fiance visa in Guangzhou for over a year. How much does it cost to sue? That's something you got to schedule a private consultation with a lawyer to talk about your case, what's appropriate for lawsuits. Estefi asks, are documented eligible for advanced parole? Everyone is eligible for emergency advanced parole if needed. It's not probably going to happen, but humanitarian parole is open to everybody, but applying is. But whether you're getting approved, who knows? Fotina asks, my receipt doesn't have a priority date, just has a date of receive and date of issue. Is that normal? Well, it depends. If your case is not a case that needs to have a priority date, then yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So that's that. Callan says, what about people who had permanent green cards, live here for 15 years, all family here, but got deported because addicted from doctor prescription? Can they come back if mother or citizen? That's way too private and specific consultation. Schedule a private consultation to go over that. We can't really get into that kind of stuff here right now. Luis says, hi, I filled my I-751. My 7-year-old kid, I received 8-month extension. I received nothing for my kid. Is that normal? Let's see. I think you probably have to file a separate one for the kid or not. I can't remember. I usually don't have a lot of 751s with children, so I don't have the top of my head what if they need to have a separate application or not. So schedule a private consultation. I can look into that in more detail. Christian says, as you are as a lawyer and helping with K1, are you able to assist in pulling old arrest records? Anyone could assist in pulling arrest records. There's companies that do that. I need to see what the situation is first to figure it out. Kay says, hi, sir. Is it true that I-944 public charge is required when you file adjustment of status? Yes. Eduardo says, let me shut down that sound. Let's see. How do I do that? Just bear with me. Put the preferences. I don't know how to shut off that ticking sound if y'all hear it. So sorry if it pops up. Whatever. All right, so a couple more questions here. Eduardo, is it worth applying for AP? That's up to you. Your value is up to you. Do you need a lawyer for filing AP? That's advanced parole. Again, that's up to you. You should have a lawyer. It's smart. I mean, if you could afford it, the reality is, if you could afford a lawyer, it's always good to have a lawyer. It's like, you could cut your own hair sometimes too, but wouldn't you rather have someone cut your hair for you instead of cutting yourself? If you can afford it, and if you can't, it is what it is. But if you can afford the money, it's always good to have a lawyer. It's a no-brainer. Princess says, what next if a person got denied after doing biometrics that was approved? Your case is denied. The biometrics is not about being approved. It's just a physical thing you do. That's a serious situation, Princess. You got to talk to a lawyer as soon as possible. Alan says, hello, how are you? I'm from Albania. I have a BSc computer. I like to live in the USA. How could I start the process? We got to schedule a private consultation to see what's going on with your particular case. It's not something I could just say, do this or do that. Most people cannot get, status or a way to be able to come to the United States. So we got to see if you fall within one of these exceptions that's good or not. So that's something you just got to set up a consultation to go over. Okay, so hello, from Peter says, I'm an F1 student. I won the diversity visa lottery. When doing the interview showing that I'm a university enough for eligibility request that requires high school. You got to have the high school degree. If you got to have the high school degree. That's it. So they'll probably be flexible, but having the high school degree is the thing. Z says, I want 30 spouse processing times accurate. No, the processing times on USCIS are not accurate. Peter says, Ibrahim, for adjustment of status. When you're doing diversity visa lottery, it's like you have 2 years of work experience or 2 years of high school degree. That's that. Just go get it. Then if you're in college, they're going to be flexible about it. Quarga says, hi, sir. What happens now with the spouse of a green card holder waiting on medical and interview? Yeah, you just got to wait. That's all. Base says, thank you. You're welcome, Base. All right, so let me jump to TikTok. We've got a bunch of questions here. Okay, Zhang says, how does the new immigration bill affect undocumented married non-immigrant spouse? There's the bill. They didn't even release the bill out. They just have like talking points on it. So I don't know. Until it becomes law, it's not really. It's all speculation when it comes to the Biden's bill, and that's why I don't really like getting into too much. But until something becomes law and they tells it's law, it all means nothing. So just don't even think about it. It's all talk and politics so far. Gonk says we are planning to start our process the day after tomorrow. Does expired visa affect? It can. Depends on what kind of case you have. Ink says any all-around immigration updates or laws. I mean, Ink, that's a huge question. Thank you for asking that. I have so many other questions. If there was no questions right now and I was running out of stuff to talk about, that'd be perfect. But just go to our YouTube page, JQK Law Firm, JQK Law Firm, YouTube page. All the updates are there, and have a separate page, JQK Immigration Clips, which has 1 or 2 minute clips that are posted every day. So all the updates are there, but always visit uscis.gov or Department of State for other updates. Harad says, I'm a green card holder. I applied for my wife. She never got her visa interview yet. Yep, it takes time. Arsa says, how long does it take for H-1B to be approved? It takes a while. Julep says, how long does it take for adjustment status? There's no timelines. How long does it take RFE to get back? There are no timelines. There are no timelines. Absolutely no timelines. I could say general stuff, but it's so inconsistent that like all I could really say, the honest answer is there's no timelines. I know it's frustrating, but you just got to wait. There's no answer. I could lie to you, but I'm not a liar, so I don't want to do that. Okay, husband is in status, but his visa, good card. I got to have a private consultation with you, so just set that up. Email me. Yashar says, I filed my wife. I-130 was denied as I forgot supplemental. I-130 probably A. Send appeal. You may be able to appeal, but why appeal? Appeal it could take forever. I don't know. It's up to you what you want to do, appeal or resubmitting. Jenner says, I had a baby with my ex-wife because my wife was abusive and me so bad now. I got 10-year green card. Can I petition my baby and my wife because I married her again? Jenner, that's a private consultation situation. Arya says, changing status F1 to F2 is pending. Is it possible to apply for H-1B on April 1st? You can always apply. Yeah, if you did your F1, F2, F2 properly, yeah, if you just maintain your F1 even, that's possible. But again, your employer is going to have a lawyer that's going to file the H-1B. Talk with them. Rizwan says, tell some about RFE, a request for evidence. When the government thinks you're missing something, my request for evidence for I-130 I sent 3 months ago. How much time? There's no time. Gokar says, how much does it cost to hire a lawyer? It costs a lot of money. If you ask, that means you can't afford it. But the reality is, it depends on your case. Some parts of the job might be $200. Sometimes might be $20,000. It's not the way to go about it. Just ask in the public forum, how much does it cost? How much does surgery cost? Well, what kind of surgery? Foot surgery, heart surgery, brain surgery. They're all different, and so you got to talk with the doctor, see what's going on. Sophia says, "Hi, best lawyer." Thank you so much, Sophia. I appreciate that. Daniel says, "Do you have any idea when they'll start accepting visa applications again? Visitor visa, they are in some embassies." 19 Rashad says, sister had a visitor visa. She wants to stay. Well, that's probably not going to happen, but have your sister schedule a consultation. Alan says, can I start a business and my country is not on the treaty investor list? Well, that's a loaded question. You could always invest and start a business. Doesn't matter. But if you want to get a visa through it and you're not on the investor treaty list, you have to invest a lot more money and do the green card program. So it gets more complicated. Shanti says, what is the difference between 2008 and 2020 version test? I think you're talking about a citizenship test. It's small changes, added some questions. That's about it. It's not hard. You should be able to do it. If you're talking about citizenship test. Jesus says, can't someone in tourist visa status extend another 6 months? They could apply. Yeah. Maybe they'll do it. Maybe they won't, but you can always apply. Hi, Rashad. Mark says, if I got pregnant and need my parents' help, will be consideration of the visa process? No, not at all. I haven't only seen bad things. when you tell them that. Manager says, does the process of filing for a sibling green card faster if the sibling is USA? No, that has no effect. DJ says, what would happen if your adjustment status is denied and your visa expired? Then you potentially would be put in deportation, so you could go to court and kicked out if you didn't come on the visa waiver. Is it a good idea to apply for EB3 green card? I mean, if you want a green card and you have an employer that's going to file for you, yeah, it's a good idea. But I mean, it's not about it being a good idea or not. Fady says, what about people that have temporary green cards in right now expired? Well, I don't know. You renew it. I mean, that's about it. You have a temporary green card, a 2-year. You file before. If you didn't renew it in time for expiration, you might be sent to immigration court for deportation. So you want to jump on and try to submit it as soon as possible and hope they accept that and don't send it to immigration court. Ehop said, do you think Biden is going to extend the immigration halt? Well, he already has. So yeah. Akash says, what should you do if your marriage is more than 2 years old, but you're still waiting for the interview? You wait. That I don't have anything. Just wait. Arya says, because of COVID, is pre and processing paused for now? Lots of cases look to be delayed. No, pre and processing is technically open right now. So that's that. All right, let's go to YouTube and Facebook. Take some questions there. A Human says, I have an I-140 approved. That's a work-based, employer-based green card petition. I filed my adjustment status pending which is current in VB. I also filed for my family, I-24 I'll join. Does my daughter, age 18, freeze? Yeah, if you filed the I-824 in time, if you submit a properly filed I-824, that'll freeze your daughter's age. Okay, Kaya says, hey, sir, what if I didn't file the I-944 with my packet? Is there going to be a problem application? I got my receipt already, but they don't have any biometric scheduled yet. Kay, they said they're supposed to have rejected your application if you didn't submit the I-944 public charge. So that's the issue. If they didn't reject it, they still submit the receipt. They have the option of either A, denying your case, take the money, deny it. Hopefully they won't do that. Or B, just send you a letter to saying, please send the RFE request for evidence. It could happen any of those ways, unfortunately. Kay says, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen, plan to bring my parents to the U.S., but I'm a student. I make below the income requirement. Can my aunt become a co-sponsor? If so, what does she need to do? Yeah, she can become a co-sponsor. What does she need to do? She needs to schedule a private consultation with a lawyer with you and to talk about it over. There's an additional form I-64 that she needs to submit, but it's too general a conversation to have, too big a conversation to have here. I need to talk with her or at least have her fill out one of my questionnaires so I see what's going on and then take it from there. Neil asks, I'm waiting for my biometrics. It's been 3 months. When can I expect it? I don't know. You know better than I do. I would say whenever COVID-19, expect COVID-19 to calm down. That's when you could expect. I don't know these things. It's not up to me. Okay. Amen says, will F2a ban be removed after March 31st? I am not a fortune teller. I can't tell the future. So if someone can, God bless them. They should go invest in the stock market and make $1 billion. But if I could tell you what's going to happen on March 31st, whether I'm going to be alive or I'm dead, whether I'm going to be, a billionaire or just the same as I am now, that's as much information I have. You're asking me to predict the future, and everyone who asks these questions about the future, it's not something I could do, and it's not something anyone could do. So it's just not good to ask these questions. You just got to be patient. That's the only thing. Patience is gold. Patience is virtue. It's in the Bible. Those who are patient are loved by God. It's somewhere in there, I bet. But that's the only thing I could tell everybody who's asking questions about timelines. It sucks. I know. I get these emails every day. I feel the brunt of it. But the reality is, I mean, obviously the person waiting is feeling the major brunt of it, but when I get asked 50 times a day this question, at least 50 times a day, I know how serious the issue it is, but you just gotta wait. All right, AK says, will I be interviewed for my spouse case I-130 was overseas, or will they only require interview for my spouse? Normally, it's only an interview for your spouse. They usually don't do interviews if your spouse is doing consular processing overseas. Yoshia says, my processing time for my I-130 has passed. How should I proceed with the inquiry? Go online. USCIS.gov has an inquiry page. So you can say, hey, it's going too long, and fill that out. They'll probably respond saying, whatever. Literally, that's what they'll say, whatever. And then try it again. Maybe contact your congressperson. It may work, it may not, but hey, it's worth a shot. Pauline asks, hey, sir, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. My paperwork's pending with USCIS. Can I apply for amnesty during the process? Am I waiting to be here from USC? There is no amnesty. So you're asking something that doesn't exist. This is just political talk right now. When something happens, then we'll know what the rules are. We can answer that question. Kuhl says, what is your take on a new Biden administration for backlogs on family sponsorship? Do you think it will get improved? No. If he's going to do amnesty for 11 million people and we're short-staffed with the immigration USCIS department right now, you could expect massive, massive delays. People are complaining that they're not getting their biometrics notices. And that's just a notice of peer do fingerprinting. If they can't do that, and there's 11 million people amnesty coming in, DACA people, deferred action for parents, TPS people, yeah, all you can expect is more delays. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. Samantha says, my VADA, primary VAWA case was denied. Is it safe to appeal or reapply? Samantha, I don't know. I don't know why your case is denied, so I can't really give individual advice like that. Having prima facie is mandatory VAWA. I mean, you got to have the basics of the case, Valentina. You don't have to use fancy terminology. You just have to have the basic things of the case. But we got to look at your private case. Ashkan says, sure, my I-485 was denied almost a month ago. Didn't get denied later yet. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry to hear that. But if you got to deny, you got to talk with the immigration attorney in private. Eamon says, I know, but lawyers usually can have better judgment or predictions. I could have predictions, judgments if we're private because I could look at all the details of your case and give my opinion based on your personal background. But in a general thing like this, an Iranian person, a Chinese person, a Pakistani person, a European person, Japanese person, a Mexican person, all have vastly different timelines. And then depending on their background, timelines shift too. If they're in the United States, if they're in Los Angeles, as opposed to if they're in Arizona, as opposed to if they're in Florida, all these things affect the timeline. So I need to know like 30, not 30, let's say 8 different factual points about you to give a general idea of timelines for anything. And even then, I only have a 50-50 shot of being correct. So it's kind of a worthless endeavor. I mean, you could pay me and we could spend half an hour talking about it, but is it worth your time? No, not really. It's just, that's it. If you already had a lawyer, like who are already my clients, yeah, I sit with them as part of the total fees. We do that, but overall, that's it. We have a question right here. User said, when are all the embassies going to open? When is COVID-19 going to end? Eamon says, what does it, I'll answer your question with a question. Eamon says, what does it mean when the case status says actively being reviewed by Uscs? It means they're actively reviewing your case. It means exactly what the sentence says. They're looking at your case. Oakland Immigration Law says, hey, John, I have a P3 visa filing with premium processing. Is it new correct fee $2,500? Yeah, they jacked up the premium processing fee. It's pretty, I want to use negative terminology, but yeah, they increased the fee $2,500. They were supposed to add more ways of doing premium processing. Premium processing is when you can pay extra money to get faster decisions. But no, they increased the fee, but didn't add the additional benefits of getting premium processing for work permits, EADs, for example, and other kind of applications, NIW, EB1C, it's more technical kind of stuff. And add insult to injury, premium processing used to be only like 15 business days. Now it's like 30 calendar days. Or it was 15 calendar days. Now it's 30 business days or some crazy thing like that. So the service gets worse, prices go up, and we just continue doing everything that we're doing. Adia says, hi, is it possible to change the country of the interview if a country is on travel ban? No, the country interview is going to happen for an immigrant visa. Green card is based on your country of residence, and that's that. Anna says, is Biden going to extend Trump's immigration halt for working visa? I don't know. I already talked about that. That's not, you guys, President Biden. Go on President Biden's Twitter and ask him. I'm not President Biden. I can't make those decisions. Ashkan says, do they extend the green card to 10 years if you notify them that your marriage is more than 2 years? If your marriage was less than 2 years old and you got the green card, you automatically get a 2-year green card that requires an extension from I-751 to get a 10-year. If they mistakenly gave you a 2-year when associated 10-year, you got to notify them to correct that. Akir says, do they extend your green card more than 10 years? I already answered that. Aria says, has the premium processing for EB182? I just answered that, Aria. No, they hasn't. NIW still don't get premium processing. That hasn't happened. Islam says, what better, my husband, to go through me for a green card or for asylum? Islam, probably 3. I don't know your case. I don't know anything about you. So schedule a private consultation. Watcha says, male green card loss, common cause CR1. I'm not sure what your question means, but they do lose it a lot. User 75 says, in early February, USMC combo will begin a phased resumption of immigration. Yeah, they say that, but they say that constantly last year. Yuva says, my sister got approved for a family visa. The visa expired because she couldn't travel to COVID. Well, you got to request a renewal from the embassy. Okay, Ashkan, schedule a private consultation if you need more help on your case. Okay, so let's go to YouTube and Facebook. We got a couple more minutes left. So many questions. I need staff to help me go through these. Sorry if I missed some people. Harun says, I'm an asylee waiting for my interview. EAD, can I get further benefits? I don't know. There's no bill for Biden's law. You're asking about Biden's. There's no law. Angelo says, keeping questions coming as lawyers on fire. Thank you, Angelo. Angela says, F2a, which one's better, expedite or waiver? I don't know, Angela. I got to see what's going on. Can I legally work with an Itin Gabriel, legally working for immigration purposes requires work permit or other source of authorization. The Itin situation, if you want to work with that, that might be a tax question. So I'm limited about what I can answer for that. Mario says, if COVID caused you to reschedule your date and your work permit expires, should you renew the work permit? I mean, you probably should if you want to work. AK says, what can I do if my spouse gives birth a month before she gets her visa and I'm a U.S. citizen? Your child probably is a U.S. citizen automatically, so you should get the child's passport and a consular record of birth abroad, CRBA. Unless you can't transmit citizenship to your child, which you probably can, then your child will automatically potentially get an immigrant visa too with the mom and be able to fly to the U.S. and get a green card upon arrival. But I need to talk with you in private to see which scenario affects you. Muhammad says, hello, do I need a waiver for nonviolent felony? I got sentenced for 5 months. Once it goes into felonies or any criminal stuff, you need a consultant attorney in private. Angelo says, Yoshi, processing time has to process. Muhammad says, I'm married almost 3 years. Okay. Yeah, Muhammad, you got to schedule a private consultation. Tariq says, any website that can help that is affordable. Also, what does the current wait time look like for Rayleigh? I don't know. Go to uscs.gov. I can't recommend you get legal help through a website. That's not. Nancy says, do you think they will force COVID vaccines in the future for immigration? Probably they will. They already forced a lot of different vaccines. Probably they will, I would imagine, especially under Biden. But we'll see. It's a tricky situation. Okay, so Islam, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much, not your help. Thank you. You're welcome, Arya. Islam says, so Biden's allowing illegal immigrants to get a green card. He doesn't have the power to allow anything. Hamid says, I have not received my biometrics. Yeah, you got to wait. Can anyone be a co-sponsor if I'm unemployed? Maybe. I mean, I got to see the whole case. C. Kelly says, I got the green card through asylum. Can I renew my passport or travel anywhere on my country of origin? Technically, if you're an asylee, you're not supposed to use your passport or renew it or anything like that. People do it all the time. They get away with it. The technical answer legally is no. Once you're an asylee, you can't use your home passport. You shouldn't renew it. You're supposed to file for a refugee travel document and travel with that to any countries that allow you to travel with a refugee travel document they're accepted in. And you probably need to get a visa to enter those countries. Watchtower says, green card lost in mail. Is that common cause for COVID? Now, green cards being lost in the mail has always been an issue. It's a major headache I have when they do that. Unfortunately, you just have to pay the full money to get a new green card in most cases. C. Kelly says, I got the green card through asylum. Can I renew? We already answered that question. Answered that question. How many hours can an F1 student work on CPT? There's no limitation hours, just typical legal hours. But the more, like if you work full-time on CPT on an F1, you're going to take away from your OPT time. So be careful with that. Potentially you may take away from it. Chado says, any trucking company to sponsor paper? It's more complicated than that. Amin says, sir, work permit apply to USCIS need biometrics? Not necessarily. They don't always require biometrics. After 2 years green card through, can you get citizenship? If you're going to get citizenship, Islam, I got to see what's going on in your case. Schedule a private consultation. The Indian chef says, is the NVC extremely backlogged? The USCIS sent my approval letter 2 months back and the NVC hasn't gotten it. NVC is really inconsistent. So I'll have cases that will take 3 months to get an NVC notification, and they'll have a case of the same week that gets the notification after like 2 days of the approval. So it's really just inconsistent. It's super inconsistent. Yeah, you got to contact. There's a special way to contact the NVC when they're not responding. I think it's NVC research at state.gov, at state. Something like that. There's a special email when they're not getting it that you have to send it. But that's that. Gurpreet says, it's been 6 months. My PIP, my parole in place, still pending. I biometrics on. Yeah, these things just take a while. All right, so I'll take some last few questions from YouTube and Facebook. No more questions from Instagram and TikTok. Sorry, you guys got to bear with me. Join us next week for those. Okay, so Pierre says, what about my case already approved by USCIS 8 months ago and you don't receive any notification from NBC that your case was transferred? We got to contact the NBC and see what's going on. That's that. SK says, hello, John. Can you tell me what should I expect to receive after receiving my I-130 receipt notice? Yeah, either you'll get an RFE, a request for evidence for missing information, or an approval if an interview is required for some reason, maybe approval. The thing is, SK said, I don't know the details of your case, so every case is going to be different. I got to see what's going on in your case. AKA says, is constantly calling USCIS about your case slow down the process? Yeah, because every time you potentially do a case request or something like that, they have to pull your case out, see why it's being delayed, put it back in. Maybe your case requires that you call them all the time, But AK, I know you've been following for months, and I know how much you're contacting USCIS. At a certain point, you listen to me, you know you got to be patient, man. Come on. So just be patient. I know you just told me you had a kid. Congratulations on the baby coming in. But this is just the nature of immigration nowadays. New Year says, sir, how many days does it take to receive a bounty letter? There is no deadline days or anything like that. John Rice says, what is a domicile requirement for IR1 applicants? Well, for every family-based case, a domicile requirement is that the financial sponsors, those people submitting from I-864, have to be living and domiciled in the United States or be soon to be living and domiciled in the United States. I prefer not to be doing the soon to be part because that's not reliable. But that means you have to have a life here and be able to prove that you're living and working or just living in the United States. Harun asks, can asylum seeker file an amnesty program? There is no amnesty program. Angelo says, cool is the latest unanswered. When you check your YouTube again, John, you got this. Thanks, John. You're welcome. Cool says, my brother applied for I-130 for me under F4 category last month. You think it'll be delayed? No, F4, it's not going to be delayed. Only Boy says, what if I arrived in USA after my second anniversary and still give me a 2 year? Well, that's a mistake. So if you had if you got a marriage green card that was going to be a conditional green card and you got in the United States after it's been 2 years on your marriage, you got to contact USCIS to get a 10-year green card if they mistakenly issued a 2-year green card. Lena says, hello, I sent my I-130 for my spouse January 7th, but I still haven't received a receipt. Why is it so? Is that normal? No, USCIS is seeing super amounts of backup. Lena, you're following my YouTube page, JK Law Firm. I have a detailed video about the delays that are happening. But getting receipts, I have a case right now. I submitted it for spouse of a U.S. citizen in mid-November. And it's been over 2 months now. It's been 9 weeks now since I submitted it. The checks still haven't been cashed. So there's huge delays happening with USCIS for biometrics, for receipts, and everything else, really. So expect that. Sarah says, what about a case of follow joint for a spouse visa? What about it, Sarah? Schedule pilot consultation. We get into that because there's no real question there. It's just a general idea. But with that, I want to thank everyone who joins. We'll be back again next week, as always, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, JQK Law Firm, and on the TikTok page, Immigration Lawyer John. But check out all these pages. I'm putting out material every day, clips, pictures of approval notices that have timelines, all this different kind of information, help you move forward with the immigration process. I'm Immigration Lawyer John Khosravi, headquartered in Los Angeles, California. Email me if you want to schedule a consultation. In the email, describe what your situation is, 3 or 4 lines of the basics. So I have an idea if it's something I handle or not, and then we can take it from there, schedule a consultation. Until next one, have a good one. God bless everyone. Be safe. Bye-bye.